Hi, I'm a cringe dude in a mask, and so who better than to rank every single mask from Slipknot?
But the cool thing about this one is that there's a mask underneath the mask.
Alright, and I know there's gonna be some asshole in the comment who's like, you don't have this variation of this myth. Shut up. I did not create this tier list, so if something's missing, you take it up with them. But let's go with Cory, with what I like to call like kind of the like Bobo doll masks. It reminds me of like the squeezy guys where their eyes and ears kind of pop out. I'm a fan of this mask. I like it. Not quite S tier, but I think A tier is gonna be good. All right, moving on to some of these kind of like angry pig boar sort of looking masks. I do like this sort of like black variation with the sort of like splatter bluish paint on it. It's kind of a vibe. I can deal with that. I'll just maybe say like B tier for that one. All right, Mick with kind of the earliest variation of his mask. Now, I have a lot of positive things to say about Mick's mask, but as much as I love the OG masks, and they tend to be my favorites, Mick's definitely looks a little bit silly with the leather pretending to be metal, and then especially with his nose poking through. Like that little detail kind of kills this one for me. So putting this one relatively low, I don't know, maybe like D tier. Joey Dorson's masks, I feel like pretty much always on point. He's one of the ones who kind of stuck with the same kind of look all the way through with some subtle changes to it, and I think for good reason. It's just a good looking thing. I will say it's a little simple. There's nothing really like special about it. It's just sort of like the creepy doll kind of look going on there. So I don't know, I'm thinking like B tier for this one. Another one of these, pretty similar overall. I don't know, it's fine, I guess. I can go with C tier. All right, the Fetish Pointy masks. Now, I am okay with these, but when they had the like super long needles like this, I thought it looked a little too silly for me.
It's in my neck. It's fine, everybody. It's in my neck.
Putting this one down at E tier. Now, on the flip side, we got this like OG one with sort of the more gas mask look with the smaller spikes. I'm a fan of this. I always thought this was kind of neat. I don't know, I might even put it at A tier, actually. Speaking of gas masks, too, we got to go on to Sid's gear. And another one, kind of like Joey's, it's sort of simple, but it's effective, and I kind of like it, so I think B tier feels about right. Cory's OG Slipknot Mask, always S tier for me. That thing, I saw it for the first time, and was just like, whoa. Like, that's creepy. It's a little different. It's got that like special signature touch that nobody can take away from them. So like a lot of familiar ideas with kind of Leatherface, and then the dreads almost remind me of like Predator or something, but the way it all comes together is kind of original. So yeah, go on S tier for that one. Same goes for Mick's mask once it started to really take shape. Another one where like they all look pretty much the same later on, but I think I can put at least one variation in S tier. Is this Iowa yet? I don't know. The transition from the self-titled to the Iowa mask is kind of subtle. I do recall the green dreads being more involved around the Iowa time, and also the eye holes started to get like bigger and stuff. There's a couple of different images of this I've seen floating around. Really strong. I never thought it was quite as good as the original, though. So I'm going to put it at like A tier. Another spiky gimp mask. This one definitely a stronger one with the shorter spikes. I just think it looks better. It looks a little less goofy, even though it is fun to see the spikes kind of like bounce when they're banging their heads. I don't know. I could put this one at like C tier. It's fine. Another Joey mask. Going for a little blood for this photo shoot too. Pretty good stuff. I mean, again, they're all kind of on the level more or less for me. I will say I think I like the other one I put up here a little bit more. So I'm going to put this one at C tier. This one is kind of interesting. I don't know. It's a slight variation here on a couple of different ideas. I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time looking at this mask for whatever reasons, so it's kind of like catching me a little bit off guard. I'd probably put it at like B tier. Okay, the OG pig mask. Going like straight up Leatherface, but of course with the more pig. I thought it was really cool back then, but it does look kind of dated now looking at it. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever, but it is a little bit goofy. I don't know. I'm thinking C tier for this one. All right, first of our Sean Clown masks. This one, I don't know. These like see-through ones, They're fine, but they just scream like you just grab them off the shelf at Party City and you're kind of good to go. So not a lot of originality there. It's definitely creepy looking, but creepy clowns are a dime a dozen. Thinking C tier for that one. All right, we're getting into some Chris masks now. I'm a fan of the Pinocchio. I think it's an interesting idea. It's got a sort of like extra level of creepiness to it because it ties in those sort of like childhood kind of like even Disney stuff and gives it a really scary looking makeover. I like some of these, not other. I do like this red variation. It's very simple. I like that the nose isn't overly long, overly shaped either. It makes a statement. I want to put an A. Another Joey mask, very similar to this one. I say I'll put it at like B tier right alongside that one. I like the new Cory mask quite a bit. I think it's really strong. It's kind of a variation of the of this same one, the Bobo mask one. And I think it's good. I like what they did with it. They kind of like advanced it even a little bit with some little kind of like the seams around the mouth and made the eyes a little bit different and everything. I enjoy it. I'm putting it at A tier. All right, this shit was goofy. this shit was goofy. I don't know what was going through their minds for this one, but I think it's just very, very silly and just not for me. This is F tier for me. Another one for Sid too, the skull variation of the gas mask. Kind of an interesting idea, but I think again it sort of looks a little silly to me. It's not terrible. I think I could put this one. It's kind of giving me the same vibes as Mick's nose sticking through his mask, so I'll put it at D tier. Cory's Volume 3 mask. I know some people really love this one. I feel like it's a little like overdone, like a little bit kind of try hard, but I do like it. I like it a lot more than some of his other ones. It's a pretty strong mask, but it does kind of lack some originality to it. It's sort of just like generic monster face kind of look. I do like the asymmetrical qualities of it. I'm gonna call this one like a B. This one here, like I don't even know what to say. It's not the best image of it either. Like you kind of gotta get a closer look of it, but I don't know, I'm putting it at C tier. I mean, it's basically just like a modified skull mask. All right, we're getting to some Jim Root masks here. And another guy, we're kind of doing a variation of the same thing for a while. The original, it's solid, but sort of, again, not a lot of like crazy ideas going into it. Simple jester mask kind of cut down. I think I got B tier for this one. And then when he started like doing more of a cutout with the hair like flipped over it, I don't know, that it lost some points for me in that. Like I thought it started to look a little bit sillier actually, so C tier for that one. Another Pinocchio mask, another simple but effective. I like it about as much as the red one, so actually kind of putting that one at A tier. The We Are Not Your Kind Cory mask, one of my least favorites of all of his masks. Just terrible. The milk jug classic. There's nothing I like about this mask. Not a thing. So I'm putting it at F tier. And same goes for the Old Man Mask from the Great Chapter. Just awful. The worst by far. Even worse than the milk jug mask, I think. So also going to F tier.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
Another Jim Root mask. This one not with the cutout and everything, with the hair going around it still. It's a vibe. I'm gonna put it at B tier. This one was kind of neat. It's got some sort of like extra like incisions into it and some designs on there. It's I don't know. It's not quite A tier quality, but I could put this one at B tier as well. Kind of a variation on the pig mask here too, with the sort of more human looking face, but with the like mangled teeth, kind of fusing the styles together, but also with like even a touch of like the porcelain doll kind of look. It's kind of interesting. I put this one at B tier as well, actually. And then back down to the more sort of basic version of it. It's fine. It's C tier. The gold Pinocchio mask, also kind of cool. I don't know. Is it as good? It might be a little bit too garish compared to the black and the red. So I don't know. I'm feeling more B tier, that one. Another Jim Root with the hair coming out sides. Just not a huge fan of that one. It's just a little bit too simplistic. Now this one with the like gold etchings into the kind of like sort of like the white porcelain one, except even more ornate. I thought it was kind of cool. It's kind of a good look. I don't know. I like that. Maybe A tier for that one. All right, maybe one of the shortest variations of the Pinocchio mask. I don't like that they made it look more like a real nose on this version, and it's got like too much nostril. Like it's like too rounded out. It looks really goony to me. So this one's going to D tier. This one's kind of cool. A little sort of like mouthless, dark-eyed look. I'm sure when it's not in a photo shoot, it can kind of look different in different settings. A little bit more sort of generic horror vibe, but not bad. I'm feeling kind of C tier for that one. Like OG Jim Root mask. I don't know. They're all kind of like almost created equal for me when it comes to those. I kind of like that it's so like DIY too. I don't know. I have a soft spot for like the first masks because those were the first ones that I saw. Joey throwing in a little flair with the crown of thorns on this one, which is kind of a cool touch. It's going for kind of a different sort of, I don't know, theme at that point. I could almost, I don't know, could I put that at A tier? Maybe, I'm thinking about it. Many more spikies here, long spikies. Just not a big fan, especially with the longer one. This one went for more of an asymmetrical thing where it's pointing out further on the sides and the top. The mohawk one's kind of neat. Like that was kind of an interesting idea. So I could put that one slightly higher, but I'm still not really a fan. The OG clown mask, to me, like, just like with creepy dolls, like a actual normal doll is creepier than like what they've done to dolls in movies now, where they like make them creepy on purpose and they sort of overdo it. Same with clowns. Like the more it just looks like a clown, the creepier it is. So I don't know. Even though it's super basic, it's super effective. So I'm gonna put that at A tier. See now, and like I said, then you kind of go too far. You start carving like pentagrams and stuff into it, and it's just too much. I feel like it's too much, but I will say I like the overall look that they did with this one enough that I'd still put it at B tier. Wrapped in bandages, not a huge fan of that. It's an interesting idea, but it's, I don't know, it's not that great. I'll put a D. Bulb nose fetish mask, also not loving it. Plus they have enough fetish masks already, don't they? I'm gonna put that at D. The more kind of just plain black clown mask, I'm okay with that one. It's not as effective, I would say, as the original. But I think it's another B tier worthy mask. More Mick Taylor, more just like doing his thing, being Mick. I'm gonna put it at A tier. I don't want them all up at S. Another kind of more carved out variation on this one. It's kind of cool. I'll put it at B tier. The Tortilla Man Mask is a little goofy, I think. It's a little silly, but it's kind of unique too. It sort of stands out. Maybe split the difference at C. This one I don't like. Kind of like the mime / skull / clown sort of look. It looks very generic to me. Like this just screams generic. Horror movie costume, I can see in the comments right now. Your mask is generic. Yeah, real good one. Never heard that one before.
You have no power here.
But yeah, let's put this one down at like E tier. More kind of classic Sid sort of gas mask look. Simple, effective. I dig it. I don't know, B tier. Another Pinocchio mask. I don't know. This one's good. Is it as good as the other ones? I mean, it's sort of the classic. I'll give it a B tier too. Another variation of the old man mask. Not a fan. Don't like. Get it out of here. A little sort of goofier version of the gas mask that I feel like is going a little too far with the tubing and everything. A little bit more of like a nuclear Fallout kind of vibe on this one. Not a fan. I'll put it at like E. Another Jim Root. He's looking pretty fresh in this picture with the hair and everything, actually. So this is probably of the bunch one of the better looking ones. I think it kind of takes what I like about the original and sort of maxes it out. So I guess B tier for that one. Another Mick mask. Gonna put it at A tier. They're all basically the same. Another goofy Halloween mask. Like this. There's nothing particularly. I could grab this off the wall again at Spirit Halloween or something, and that would be that. So I'm just going to put it at E tier. The more recent Tortilla Man Mask, kind of a little. Again, it's interesting. It stands out, but it is still kind of silly. It's still kind of silly. I don't know. I maybe it needs to grow on me, but I'm thinking C tier. This one's all right. Another one with some kind of cool carve outs. It's decent. Not loving it though. Thinking C tier. Now this new mask, like really intrigues me. Like some of the new ones they came up with here where he's like holding his old mask and then he has this really weird like newer mask. I'm kind of into it. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely unique. It's sort of taking it a step further. So I'm actually gonna put this one, I think, at B tier. Same goes for this one with the kind of like gold eyes and sort of gold mouth area. It almost looks like a cyberpunk Jawa or something like that. Kind of neat. I'm interested to see how that one pans out. I'll put that at B. The kind of bedazzled clown mask, very shiny, sparkly, that sort of like disco ball look. I don't know. It's a little much. I think it's a little bit much. I'm gonna put it at D tier. Another solid Pinocchio mask, simple, effective, B tier. And then clown with a mohawk is I don't know, it's kind of cool, a little goofy, kind of cool. Split the difference, I'm thinking C tier. So yeah, there you go. Just kind of my basic run through on my thoughts on all these masks. I think there's wiggle room for a lot of them, and I could maybe bump some up to S tier. But let me know down in the comments which ones are your favorite, which ones do you absolutely hate, and why. And check out this video where I ranked Cory's masks, or check out this playlist of all sorts of other fun metal rankings. But that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.